This will be number 18 in the odds and ends hit and miss series. As you can see, I've powder coated the main body of the engine, and we did the cylinder last week. So I'm going to put the cylinder, the piston, the crankshaft, and all that together today. The first thing I have to do is remove the tape from the base. Usually use the X-Acto tool here to get it started. It's easy to come off once you get it started, but it doesn't start easy. There it is. They say once you get a hold of it, it's very easy to come off. Might as well take these off too. This is a special tape they use for high temperature. I think I told that before. And it's just designed for powder coating. There, that's it. A couple of spots here where the powder coat got underneath. I'm just going to check it with a file. Make sure it's on there good. Okay, that goes on there like that. The piston is already in there, but I'm going to take the piston out and rehome the cylinder because of all the things I've done. There's probably some kind of dust or dirt in there. Just to make sure, I'll take the piston out. Gonna put a couple of drops of light oil in there. This is more precautionary than necessary. Just want to make doggone sure there's nothing in there. Run it through a few times and wipe out the cylinder. That looks good. That looks really fine. I don't know if Jim can sight the bore. Now I'm going to clean the piston. I found one of the rings was slightly stuck from dirt. What I usually do is just rotate them around like that. Put a little oil on them. That'll bring any dirt out, hopefully. These rings should fit very loosely in there, so they have plenty of play to expand. They shouldn't be tight at all. And if you push them to one side, they should be below the surface. You can feel it with your fingernail all the way around. Just check to make sure that they're below the surface. There's no dirt behind them. And then we'll install it. First, I'm going to put on the connecting rod. I think I'm going to put on the connecting rod. There it is. Maybe I better check the fit on that. It might need reaming. Yeah, it does need reaming. For some reason, I guess it's when I polished this, I probably got a little bit of an edge on it. Yeah, it's still too tight. Now let's check the fit. Yeah, that's better. Should go in there nice and loose. Okay, let's get a little oil on that. Oiling this up a little bit. Now that wrist pin, as you remember, has little bronze ends on it. So if it comes loose, it's not going to hurt the cylinder. Oil on it. It's make sure your ring gaps are on opposite sides, or somewhere is way away. I put them, line them up with the wrist pins so I know that they're both on different sides. Connecting rod isn't long enough to go through here and put the piston through the piston installing thing. So I got to install the piston first into the cylinder with a little oil. Make sure I got some oil on there. There's one in there. Just have to wiggle that around a little bit to get it to go in. Now the piston is in there. Now what I got to do is expose the wrist pin on this side without I'm pushing it all the way through. Oh, that's it. Then put the connecting rod on. There it is. And you should be able to pull that back and forth with, you know, some effort, but not, it isn't tight. It's dragging. But once you break it in, it won't drag anymore. Now if you remember what I told you, the piston, before you put the rings on it, should just barely drop through there without helping. You can just touch it and it'll fall right through. Then when you put the rings on, after you've set the gap, it should have some drag. You can see I can pull that in and out without much problem. Now we're ready to install this on here. Everything works out all right, that'll fit. If I can turn it upside down here. And the bolts are here. Okay, there it is. Okay, the next thing is the crankshaft, and I have matching numbers on this, and make sure you put them on the bottom. You can still turn this around. As you can see, my matching numbers are there, but I always hide them. Now, take it up before I think. Now the crankshaft. What I think we should do is shine these up a little bit before I put them on there. I got some bluing on the top of one. I'm just going to give them a little cleanup. Now these are going to have some fitting done on them. So this is just a temporary install here. I can push the piston out of the way because there's enough room in the top of that cylinder. Must have a little powder coating on here that I missed. Get the file. Because those just fit in there perfectly. Now because these were a perfect fit before I powder coated it, it's a little tight now, so I'm just going to tap it down with a hammer. Make sure that it went down all the way. And it did. I can see the mark that it made when it pushed the powder coat down. I guess you can tell by the sound of it it's down there tight. Let's put it on something solid. Now this is number 2 bearing, so I'll put that back, put that on there. So these are cast iron, and they're running on a steel crankshaft, so they should be fine. Now that one goes in there really nice. I still do have to tap it down though because of the powder coat. Got to get that loose so that I can take it on and off by hand. That should be good now. I see something else. I didn't drill the oil hole in here. We're going to put an oil hole in here and thread it before I install them. Divided by 2 equals 260 is the center. 260. I was wondering why I had the bluing on the top, and that was the reason to remind me to put that hole in there, but obviously it didn't work. So I'm going to do it without bluing. It's 1 inch, so 500 thousandths is the center. Just got to prick punch them and drill the hole and tap it for the oil cup. Now, what I have to do is decide what kind of a thread I'm going to put in there. And for that, I need the oil cup. This is what I'm going to use. So I forgot the thread, so I got to check the thread. I'm not quite sure what that is. So it looks like it's a 632. We just double check it. The die. Yep, it screws right in there. So it's a 630, definitely a 632. I'm going to use a number 33 drill because that really doesn't hold anything except the cup. So I can drill the largest hole recommended. So this is cast iron, so I'm not using any cutting oil on it. Turns a little harder. That chuck doesn't hold it real good. It saves you from breaking taps for sure, but sometimes it's a little bit of a pain. When you get to a larger tap, it won't hold it. Okay, now I'm going to put the bearings on there. Okay, that's nice and loose, the way it should be. Now what we have to do is put this gear in here and check it with the cam, because this has to be turned down and made the right length to fit it. Goes down here, thusly. Now, as you can see, there's either got to be a shim put in there or this has to be cut down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is read the plan and see what they say, or actually check the other engine I have over there and see what I did. Be a lot easier. This doesn't want to go on there. That has to be reamed a little bit too. Glasses. Okay. So if this was here and that was there, you can see that that has to be changed. Okay. So now I have to put this rocker arm in here to see what distance that has to be to meet the cam. This is the rocker arm, and that has to have clearance there. So it's about that much. Let's see, it's quite a bit. Now, I have too much of a head on that screw. What I've got to do is get that down somehow. And then the screw actually isn't in all the way, so I got to remake this screw. And this shoulder screw I made for another engine some time ago, and it isn't quite right. So, but I'm going to use the measurements of this one to make the new one for that. Looks like it's about 20 thousandths too long. I can actually measure that. So what I'm going to do is put this in tight and then see how many feeler gauges fit in there. Then I'll have a good accurate measurement. That's now seated down on the body of the rocker arm. It wasn't before. There was a little gap. I could hold it up to the light. I could see light through there. So I just countersunk it a little bit so it'll go in the rest of the way. Right. So now we can measure it. It's just about 30 thousandths. It can be shorter. So I'm going to make a screw that's 30 thousandths shorter and has less head on it, and it'll work. Okay, what I'm going to make this out of is just 1/4 inch 12L14. And first thing I have to do is get a thread on there. So we got to make that shoulder bolt, and the first thing I'm going to do is the threaded part, and that has to be 3/16 long. I'm going to make it a little longer and then grind it off afterwards. Just makes it a little easier. So come in here, set my tool against the material, zero this, and maybe go 200 thousandths instead of 187, 1, 2, and set up this stop. Now I got to turn that down to 112. That's 156. We go to 112. It's only going 10. We got about 14 more to go. So we'll go 5. Take another couple of thousandths off of that. And we'll put the thread on it. Now I'm going to put it on the other way and thread it a little closer to the end. Now, zero my dial indicator here, and I got to see how much we got to go in, and the distance is that less 30 thousandths, did I say? Yeah, 30 thousandths. So that's basically 1, 2, yeah. That's basically 200 thousandths. 203 is what I'm measuring. So let's do it 203. There's 1, 2, and 300 thousandths. And set my stop. Now I've just got to turn that down to 156, I believe is 5/32. Now for a little more accuracy, I'm going to use the mic instead of the caliper. Okay, that's 161, so I got 5 to go. So you got 1.5 thou to go. That's a 1/2 thousandth under, but that's fine. Let's just see what the caliper says now. Wow. It's within a 1/2 thousandth. It says 156. It's actually a 1/2 thou under according to the mic. Part that off and put a slot in it for the screwdriver. You gotta hit it quick with a file so it'll be shiny. I don't need much of a head on here. Hopefully I can get it straight. And take a slitting saw and run through there. I'm just gonna eyeball that by eye. Just gonna come in and touch it. See if it looks like the center. It's pretty good. Taking very light cuts here. Not exactly on center, but it'll work. I need new glasses. That head's a tiny bit oversized, so I'm just going to file it down a little bit. Didn't quite fit in my 1/4 inch slot. Whoa, now it fits easy. That's plenty. There's the roller. It spins nice and free. There's very little play, but it has some play. Now we're going to install this on the engine and see where that lines up. Got to ream that hole too. Just get the powder coating out of the hole. Okay. That goes so. Okay. So what I have to do is I have to make a 3/16 inch pin here, and I've got to put a shim in back of there. I probably ought to go about 20 thousandths. so it doesn't drag on the side of the engine. That would be just about right, 20 thousandths. I could probably go even thinner. Let's go 15, see if it's clear. There's 15 thousandths. Yeah, 15 thousandths would do it nicely. So I'm going to put a 15 thousandths washer on there, and I'm going to make this piece here about 820 with a head on it and a 3/16 shaft. We've got a piece of 1/4 inch mild steel in there. I'll make that pin out of. So I'm going to start at the beginning here. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20. I got about 5 more to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shooting for 187. Pretty close. I'll part that off. And just leave a little bit of a head on it. This is just a flat for the screw that holds it in there. It sticks out, well, the material is 3/8 of an inch thick, so it's halfway in, so 187 would do it, but I'm going to go a little deeper than that. Only has to be about 10 or 20 thousandths deep. Just so the set screw has a place to sit on. So what I'm going to do now is make the 15 thousandths washer to go behind it. You should probably do a little thicker, as long as that rocker arm clears all the way across, you're good. So I'm going to put a 3/16 hole in that with a drill. It should be a little oversized. Giggles, I'm going to use a 3/16 drill. Drill it. You want that to slide on there fairly easy. And I'm just take a plug gauge and check the diameter of that hole. This is 3/16 exactly. Wow, it didn't. It just about fits in there. So that didn't drill oversized at all. This is 1,000 Thunder. That goes right in there. So I better ream that a little bit. Okay, now we're going to go 62, which is the width of the cutter. And then I'm going to go 15. Boy, that's not much. 12.5 thousandths thick, so I got to go a little more on that. I think I'm going to go with a 20 thousandths shim anyway, because that's awful thin. That's 15 thousandths. I'm going to file the burrs off of that while it's turning. We did a little better this time. 25, but that's going to work all right. I'm going to measure that again to see if I hit a burr on it. It's still 25 thousandths thick, so I'm going to go 5 less than that one. This one is 23, but I'm going to use it. That's fine. So if we put this on there, it fits on there, but it's a little tight for my liking. Yep, that's good. Okay. See, what I'm looking for is just clearance all the way down there. And that's where the rocker arm belongs. So I'm going to screw that in there and tighten the little bolt there. That screw. Yep, that did it. Now what you have to do is line your cam up and make sure the roller doesn't interfere with this gear or the screw. And mine's interfering, so I'm going to have to cut down the width of that roller a little bit. But once you get that, you can line the cam up and the gear. See if you can get a shot of this, Jim. The cam has to line up with the roller without hitting the gear. And then this screw head has to be in far enough so it doesn't interfere with the gear. It's the screw head that's in my way. So I've got to counterbore the roller a little bit more. Okay, we're getting there, but still not quite enough. The head sticks out too far. Now, I could actually counterbore that roller, I guess, and slip that in further, but then the screw wouldn't work. So I'm just gonna narrow this down a little bit. And as you can see, that roller now clears the gear. It's going to have a little bit of a shim on it. And then there's a finger that goes in here that catches this. When the governor engages, it pushes the pin in and it holds this, so it holds the exhaust valve open. But that all has to be free. The cam has to hit the roller. See how that goes? Okay. That's about it for part 18. You have some shimming to do here. There's another shim that goes behind the gear here and positions that. And sometimes you have to put a small shim in here also. But when we get the flywheels, which I hope to have next week, we can make the governor, and then that all has to line up. So if you get this pretty close, just leave it and wait till we get the flywheel on there and the governor, and then we'll make sure everything is proper. Everything fits right. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.